My daughter is my whole world, even though she's 80 now. People say I'm too close to her. But they do know how it feels to have lost your wife and best friend and still be able to feel some connection with someone. I guess that I do mind being there for Lily every single second of every single day. She's all I got! We lived alone in our little house after her mom went missing years ago. The police never found any clues. And it was just easier for me to tell Lily her mom had gone to work and never come back, rather than explain to an 80-year-old girl that her mom was dead. And it was so much easier for me to do that than to actually let go of my own mom. Now, Lily's all grown up and about to start university. I was happy for her, truly, because she's such a good girl and deserves the world. But at the same time, it scared me. It meant she would soon be out of my sight, meeting new people, discovering the world. Her first week at university was going well. She met great people and told me all about her new friends, new experiences, the parties she attended. Me, I was left at home eating dinner by myself and then watching the empty room while waiting for her to come back. The first weekend came around quickly, and when Friday evening rolled around, Lily was ready to go out again. Do you want to join us? She asked me as she was putting on her makeup. Nah. You guys have fun? I said, trying to sound okay. Even though I didn't really mind staying home, it still hurt to see her leave. She left with her friends, and I heard loud music coming from her room until late. I tried not to listen to anything she said through her door. I mean, I wasn't being creepy or anything like that. It was just that I never knew what she and her friends were talking about. If I did, I might end up having to listen to things that Dad shouldn't hear. I stopped counting the hours at some point and went to sleep. Then I woke up and Lily was still asleep on her bed. Her phone vibrated, and I heard her say, "Yeah, into it." Then she added quietly, "It's so embarrassing." I couldn't hear what the person on the other side of the phone said, but Lily's voice turned sad. "Well, maybe next time," she said before hanging up. She looked over at me and said, "Dad, are you awake?" "Yeah, I lied." "Did you have a bad dream?" No, she whispered. "I didn't want to wake you up. You could have stayed sleeping," I said. "No, I couldn't," she said. "Why not?" "I had to make sure everything was okay," she said, getting off her bed. "What do you mean?" Make sure the house was okay. In case there was a burglar or something." "Lily, there's always a 10% discount for you if we need one," I said, trying to joke. She smiled and left to take a shower. After she did that, she got dressed and said, "Bye, Dad." "Be careful on your way to school," I said. "Okay," she answered, kissing me on the cheek, and then she was gone. It took me a few weeks to get used to her leaving the house. Still, I never stopped worrying about her. No matter what age she reached, she would always be my little girl. I couldn't help it. Whenever she came home after a party, I would notice she was wearing different clothes than what she left the house with, and she was always drinking water instead of alcohol. I've raised her better than that. However, one Friday night, when she came home, she smelled like cheap perfume and cheap vodka. When I opened the door, she stumbled inside, holding a half-empty bottle of vodka in her hand. "Lily," I said, rushing to her. "Dad, I'm fine," she slurred, trying to hand me the bottle. "Are you sure? You look really drunk." "I am fine," she insisted, although her eyes showed me she was lying. Then she tripped and fell to the floor. "I'll call an ambulance," I said, helping her up. "No, please don't. My friends will kill me," she begged. I sat her down on the couch and started asking questions. She told me about how she drank 2 shots at most and how she needed to throw up. I helped her do that. Then I put her to bed. I lied down next to her and stroked her hair until she fell asleep. The entire time, I felt this anger rising inside of me. Why did she lie to me? Does she think I wouldn't care? What if something had happened to her? These thoughts made me so mad that I left the room to calm myself down. I paced around the house and didn't stop until I felt my anger fade away. I wanted to talk to her, to ask her why she did what she did, but I knew I couldn't. Not in this state. So I went to bed without saying a word to her. The following morning, I woke up earlier than usual. As I stepped downstairs, I saw Lily sitting at the kitchen table with a glass of water in front of her. "Morning," I said to her. "Morning," she replied, looking down. "How do you feel?" "Like crap," she admitted. "I should have listened to you yesterday," she continued. "What do you mean? I shouldn't have drunk." "You weren't supposed to drink in the first place," I said. She nodded slowly. I walked closer to her and asked, "Can I tell you something?" "Yeah!" she replied, looking up at me. "I love you," I said, hoping she wouldn't be shocked. "I know," she said, smiling sadly. I told her how proud I was of the woman she had become, how she had turned into such a strong, intelligent young lady. And I also told her how hard it was for me to see her change, how I had been scared since the first day she left for school. She understood what I meant. We sat there for a while, and I thought about how scary it was for me to realize that soon she would be under my roof anymore, that she would live her own life. I thought about how hard it was for me to let go of her mother, and how I was doing the same thing with Lily, except this time, it was harder. I thought about how I used to walk her to school. I remember telling her stories and making her laugh whenever she was sad. I remembered the times she fell and scraped her knees. I remember how I would carry her to the bathroom and wipe off the blood, then kiss the cuts until they healed. I remember tucking her in at night and singing her songs. As I shared these memories with her, I felt like a broken man, like I was letting go of the only piece of happiness I had left in my life. I felt like a man who had loved his daughter more than anything else in this world and who was afraid of losing her. Lily held my hand as I spoke, and she cried on my shoulder when I finished. "I love you, Dad," she whispered. "I know," I replied, stroking her hair. "I know you do, sweetheart. I know you do." At that moment, nothing else mattered. All that mattered was that we had each other, and I knew that no matter what happened, as long as we had each other, we would be okay. That night, something happened that changed everything. Forever. After Lily left for university, I barely saw her for the rest of the month. She only came home one weekend, and during that weekend, she got drunk and told me that she loved me. Of course, I loved her too. In fact, I loved her more than anything in the world. However, at that moment, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to respond to her. I couldn't believe that she loved me. The truth was that I had never been able to let go of her mother. I missed her so much that sometimes I talked to her as if she were still here. Sometimes I looked at Lily and saw her mother's face in hers. And sometimes I felt like she was my wife and not my daughter. And then Lily told me she loved me! And suddenly all those feelings came flooding back. Suddenly, I felt like I had lost my daughter and my wife in one night. I felt like I had lost everything. At that moment, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. All I could do was hug her and cry on her shoulder. They say that when you lose someone you love, you can either move on or you can stay stuck in the past. Well, I chose to stay stuck in the past. I chose to stay with Lily. I chose to stay with my daughter. And even though it was hard, even though it hurt, I knew it was worth it. Because no matter what happens, as long as we have each other, we will be okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more romantic stories like this. I'll see you again in another new video. Until then, take care, stay healthy, and stay safe. Wishing you all the best. Goodbye for now, and thank you.